by far the best investment you can make is in yourself. For example, communication skills. I tell the students that they're going to graduate schools and business and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, both in writing and in person, they increase their value at least 50%. It's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you. The second thing, which you get exactly one mind and one body in this world, and you can't start taking care of it when you're 50. By that time, you'll have rusted out if you haven't done anything. So just remember that you've just got one mind and body to get through life with and to do the most with it. You know, the most important thing is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with. And you want to have the right heroes. All you have to do is just buy a cross-section of America and then never listen to people like me or read the papers or do anything subsequently. They think that because you can trade, you should trade.
To be able to define which ones you can come to an intelligent decision on and which ones are beyond your capacity to evaluate. You don't have to be right about thousands and thousands and thousands of companies. You only have to be right about a company. I don't have to understand all kinds of business. There's all kinds of business I don't understand. But there's thousands of opportunities there. I did understand the Bank of America. I'm able to do that. And it's a terrible mistake to think you have to have an opinion on everything. You only have to have an opinion on a few things. In fact, I've told students, if when they got out of school, they got a punch card with 20 punches on it, and that's all the investment decisions they got to make in their entire life, they would get very rich because they would think very hard about each one. You don't need 20 right decisions to get very rich. You know, 4 or 5 will probably do it over time. If you have the right philosophy, you will find opportunities as you go through the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. If you got 160 IQ, sell 30 points to somebody else because you won't need it. I mean, I figured out very early, you don't have to be that smart in this business, which is fortunate, but you do have to have the right temperament. And you have to be able to ignore what other people are saying and simply look at the facts and decide, is this stock which is selling at X worth 2X? And occasionally you'll find things like that. And when you don't find them, you don't do anything. Stock doesn't care what you paid. I mean, you have to remember, the stock doesn't even care that you own it. You are nothing to the stock. That stock is everything to you. You know, the stock has no feelings about you. The only question with every stock, every day, and you don't do it this frequently, is, can I get more for my money someplace else? There is nothing about the price action of the stock. What tells you whether you should keep owning it is what you expect the company to do in the future versus the price at which it's selling now, compared to the other opportunities of businesses that you think you know equally well, and make that same comparison. And that's all there is to owning stocks. I don't worry about the things that I miss that are outside my circle of competence of evaluating. I have missed things that were within my circle, and that's a terrible mistake. You don't want to get hung up on trying to make economic analysis because nobody's any good at it. You don't get rich doing that. We think we own all the stock, but the truth is, before the tax cut, the government had a 35% share of the stock on income. Now, it didn't have a share of the assets, but it had a share of the income. And if we had a private business, if we had a McDonald's franchise together, an auto dealership together, the third shareholder, that invisible shareholder, the government, to go back to when I started my partnership in 1956 that Berkshire came out of, there were 7 people sitting there at a table. I said, here's the partnership agreement. It's 4 or 5 pages. You don't need to read it. But I said, here's a little half-page, what I call the ground rules. And I want you to read these. And if you feel okay about that, about the interaction, what the expectations are, and all of that sort of thing, then we'll join forces. And if you don't, it's fine. Other people have, but we shouldn't be partners. I mean, if I'm going to have a partnership with somebody, I want it to be compatible. It is, and when you have a public company, you can't control who comes in. I can't control some guy. So by my actions and my communications and everything, I want to attract the people from the public market that I want, and I want to keep the others away. Costco was built. He sat down and figured out the customer he didn't want. And he set up a system that would keep away the customer he didn't want. Who did he not want? He didn't want somebody buying a quart of milk with somebody behind him with a basket of $200 worth of goods waiting for that. If you're going to run a church, you want your seats to be filled by people that are generally
want to listen to your form of religion. And if the market is falling or something like that, that's opportunity for us. So the stock market has never caused my stomach to churn. You need emotional stability. You need to be able to detach yourself from fear or greed when that prevails in the market. You've got to be able to come to your own opinions and ignore other people. But you don't need a lot of brains. A stock is a piece of a business. If you buy a piece of a good business and somebody's running it for you and they're honest and able, and you pay a reasonable price, you're going to make a lot of money. I don't need to know things instantaneously. I'm not making buy and sell decisions based on instant news. I'm making them sometimes after I've looked at a company for years and years.
He did focus on the one thing he could change, and that was the customer's experience. The test isn't whether you get the greatest business idea in the world the first time out. The test is whether you keep learning as you go along what your strengths are and what you can do for your customers, what you can bring especially to the party. You need the education. You need a genuine desire day in. You really do have to learn to multiply yourself. The key is to, certainly in terms of your personal life, the most important decision you'll make is the spouse that most of you will likely have. And it's very important to surround yourself with people that are better than you are. You are going to move in the direction of the people you associate with. I advise you to seek out, as your partner in business, your partner in life, whatever it may be, look for the people that actually are examples to you rather than somebody that you think you need to straighten out yourself. And simple rules like that will cause you to move in a better path.
I said, investing is just about assigning yourself the right story. I said, imagine Ben Bradley this morning said to you, what is the Washington Post company worth? What would you do if you have to write the story in a month? You'd go out and interview TV brokers and newspaper brokers and owners, and you'd try and value each asset. I said, that's what I do. I assign myself the right story. I think you should look for the job that you would want to hold if you didn't need a job. I mean, you're probably only going to live once. Shirley MacLaine may differ with that, or a few people, but you don't want to go sleepwalking through life. And you're really, whether you make X or 120% of X, really isn't remotely as important as to whether, in most cases, you marry the right person and you also find something that you would do if you didn't need the money. Don't worry about making the most money this week or next month. I mean, when I offered to work for Ben Graham, I said, I'll work for nothing, and I meant it. Just the idea of being turned on. You need the right orientation. 90% of the people, I'm pulling the figure out of the air, but 90% of the people that buy stocks don't think of them the right way. They think about something that they hope goes up next week. And they think about the market as something they hope goes up. And if it's down, they feel worse. I feel better. The company's going to be worth 10 or 20 years from now. And I hope it goes down when I buy it because I'll buy more. You got to be careful about what you compete in. It's a good thing I don't have a competitive spirit in chess or or football or anything like that. No, I'm an observer there. I enjoy watching things like that. But I try to keep my competitive spirit in a game where I can win. I know I'll win over time. I'm in a game that's very, very, very easy if you have the right lessons in your mind about what you're buying. I'm not buying stocks. I'm buying pieces of overwhelmingly American business. I'm happy when stocks are going down. I'm happier when stocks are going down because I can buy more of them with the same amount of money. So you're looking to say, what can I do with money I've saved to put it away so I feel good about getting it back later under any circumstances, but not necessarily on a given moment. People would be so much better if they actually didn't have a stock market in terms of buying businesses. And when you're buying businesses, don't call them stocks. There are times when you get a chance to act and do something really intelligent. May happen once every 10 years, or once every 20 years. Depends on what field you're in, where you live, what you know, all of that.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule, and that's all the rules there are. I mean, if you buy things for far below what they're worth, and you buy a group of them, you basically don't lose money. It's a temperamental quality, not an intellectual quality. You don't need tons of IQ in this business. I mean, you have to have enough IQ to get from here to downtown Omaha, but you do not have to be able to play three-dimensional chess or be in the top leagues in terms of bridge playing or something of the sort. You need a stable personality. You need a temperament that neither derives great pleasure from being with the crowd or against the crowd. You're not right or wrong because 1,000 people agree with you. And you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people disagree with you. You're right because your facts and your reasoning are right.